Today I'm fitting the swing out awning that we have, and to do so I've got to mount these brackets. You can just see here, if I just point to it here, yeah, that thing there. That's the first one, prototype done. It's relatively straightforward, but always has a little issue. So I've got some nice stainless steel T-bolts to go in the roof rack, in the channels there, but they're slightly too fat. So I've got a little belt sander here. It gets hot, so definitely got to use the grippers. Smell it down. And then we'll go and try it in the channel. Let's try that. There we go. Lovely. So you get the idea. I'm just going to shave down the other two, and then we'll get this one loosely bolted up. And as if by magic, we now got three, so we'll just line them up, make sure they all screw in, which they do. Get the gasket on. Perfect. And now we'll do the other one, down the other end. Right, what's the betting these are going to be in the way? I reckon odds on. We've been tripping over this box for about 18 months, I think, probably thereabouts. So we'll just get it out. First thing we've got to do is get it out of the bag, which end's open. That was the easy way. basically what we got to do is slide the bolts in, get them in a rough position because there's no holes in the bag. So we've got to line the bolts up on here, lock them in place, bring it out, put it back in the bag, make the holes in the bag where the bolts are, because we need to bolt this on the van in the bag. Obviously that makes sense. So we've got a fixings bag here, and basically what we've got to do, start at this end, we'll put the 4 in here and 2 up that end. Oh, come back bolts, and just slide in there. Easy as that. And these 2 got this in. What I'm going to go and do is get my tape measure, measure how far from the end of the roof that the brackets are, and then I'll try and line it as close as on here on the floor before we try and lift it up onto the brackets outside. Now the wife is home, we can move the vehicle into a position where we can get up there easier. Take things off the roof. Right, let's see if we can get it in position. Still a bit of a reach. Right, let's get it bolted up. And of course, not got much room. And of course, it's right down the bottom. It's going so well, we've got time for a cup of tea. But of course, I've made it hard for myself. Putting it upside down, the brackets, means getting to the nuts at the bottom with the curve of the roof and all that. I can't get my ratchet in there, and it's going to be tight for a spanner. It's going to be like a million turns of a little bit, reverse it, a little bit, reverse, and still, you'll get there. Now that I've nipped up the bolts onto the swing out awning here, I can now tighten up the bolts onto the roof rack, so they'll now be proper locked on and in position, and then I can take this over there and we can swing it out and make sure it clears everything before we lock this into place. Okay, right, well, we're obviously not under tension here yet, but obviously pulls around there and tightens it all up so it's not sagging. However, it's highlighted a couple of issues which I hadn't contemplated, or I had considered, but we're a bit tight on this ladder with it open up there. However, that ladder's going in the bin, but that gives me a whole new problem because I have this new ladder which sits higher up and further out, so this will definitely not fit with that. So I'm going to have to modify this ladder. Don't really want to, however, needs must. So what I'm going to do is cut this bracket down and make it so it sits in the gutter like this one, and I'll use, let's put that down, and we'll use and bolt it through just like that one there, and bolt it through the panel here. But of course means the bottom part of the bracket there is going to be impeded by the cover inside the back that covers the lights. So there's that. So the adjustment I've got now, I can slide it up in these slots here, so I can lift it up a bit to give a bit of clearance at the back, and I can also, because of the rails, slide it backwards. However, the issue with sliding it backwards is there's more weight behind the rear bracket, so we want to try to keep as much here as possible close to the back. So at the front I have that much room that I can slide this back to there without causing me clearance issues here, but I don't know if that'll be enough at this end. Bearing in mind I'm going to lift it probably about an inch, which will also give just that little bit more clearance on the back door. Morning everybody, and another nice fine morning we have here. A bit fresh, but it's a lovely day. Quick recap, I know you've only just watched it, but yeah, by fitting the awning here, the ladder is in the way here. So like I say, this ladder's going in the bin because it's rotten around the top and rubbish. And we have over here the nice new ladder. However, the issue with that is it's going to be even more foul than the old ladder. So before I can sort this out and finish this job off, got to do the ladder. So let's invalidate some warranty and get a hacksaw, or in this case, angle grinder. What I'm going to do is going to be relatively straightforward. I'm just going to cut this off and bolt this on using the same holes of the existing ladder. So I've got a rough measurement with my calipers. We'll just scribe a line. And that's where we'll cut. So before we start actually cutting, we'll take the pieces off the back bracket. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to bring it up a little bit higher, because obviously you don't want too much height, because that's half the problem. So we can reduce that. So I reckon I can cut it down to about here, and that will still be clear of the gutter. That line. We go with that line, Measure twice, cut once, as they say. I think that'll do. And yes, that will hang on the gutter nicely, obviously on the other side, but yep, that'll do. Let's take this ladder off. Quite a reach. And now for the top bolts. And of course, I've got to get behind this panel, so that's this panel to take off. This one's easy, this one just falls off. Just Phillips screws. Having just popped the panel out, having super glued my tool back together again because it was sliding in and out, has been for years, I just never bothered, but now I can get in there. I've got two bolts up here, there we go. Trash. And before I get carried away, let's make sure the door shuts. Yeah, the door will shut there. No, don't need to go up there. Oh. My white Sharpie, and I'll just spot through the holes on the back so I know where to drill. Two spots for drilling off. That's going to be tight against that, but we'll be alright, I think. What do you reckon? Perfect. I'll just give it a little bit of black paint and touch it up. these rubber nuts in the bottom. There's one, the other one's in here somewhere. There's two. These bottom two just screw into the rubber boots. If I don't lose the Allen key. And as you screw these in, the rubber bit behind expands and holds it in place, which also means it doesn't rattle. And as long as the hole didn't move when I drilled them, yeah, we're going to be fine. So we're going to pull this back a bit, that's a couple of centimetres, and then we'll lift it up. But I'm going to put the tracks on the front first to make sure that I'm still clear of the tracks when I've fully assembled it and tightened it all up. Disaster! My camper tripod has broke. That's a bummer. Oh well, I'll show you anyway. So I've got to slacken the top nuts off, slacken the back nuts off, slide the rack backwards. That's all I can do, and then slide it upwards. You're not going to see it now. Nuts. Now we'll slide it back. And now I've got to clamp up these nuts that are in between here, these ones, and they'll lock the bolts in the channel on the back. And I've adjusted it so it's 30mm from the top of this bracket to the top of this edge here, 30mm. The track's still clear just about on here, and it looks like that will swing out nicely. So the awning fits nicely now. It clears the ladder with a decent bit of room, and pulls up against the roof rack on this side. The only issue is the top of the door. If I open the door before I extend the awning, then it lifts over no problem. But if I extend the awning, then I can't open the door. It's one or the other, unless I move my tracks, which I wanted to keep up there really, but I could just move them flat onto the top, I guess, and lose the issue, and just raise this up flush with the top here. Decisions. So now I've got all the bolts lined up where I want them, forwards and backwards. I can now take this all back off and fit the cover bag to it. Well, it's done, it's on. I wasn't going to video just bolting it back on again, you've seen that, and struggling with the bag on my own without a tripod, so it wasn't that easy to video. I've had to lift up to the maximum on the slots on this one, and then I've raised these up a little bit as well. So we'll try and now remove the car and see if we can open the back door. Now if we can do that, then every box is ticked for today, and I can tidy up this mess and get ready to watch the Grand Prix later. Let's have a look. job done. Job's a good one. Yeah, I think that'll do for this video, don't you? Oh, the worst part of that is the arm ache putting it up. Or putting it back, should I say. But we've got the ladder on, got the awning on, got the tracks bracket adjusted. All in all, a successful day. And still a few hours till the Grand Prix. So, until next time, catch you later. Bye for now.